I can't believe that I'm sitting here like it's a week since the Super Bowl.
I know.
I was down in Tampa this time last week, down in that little cubby hole of a room, doing a show down there, getting ready for Super Bowl 55, and here we are now. And I've been in quarantine for the last 4 days. Hopefully, I get my test back today, and I'm all good, and I'll see you on Monday morning. But I was trying to think about what to start with today, and all I could think about was how the Yankees are going to open on April Fool's Day against the Toronto Blue Jays. It will be one of the first games, if not the first game, of the Major League Baseball season.
Yeah, that's right.
That's about it, really. I mean,
you're already doing that, huh? You're one of those guys who's just thinking about opening day, thinking about spring training, thinking about the pitchers and catchers and all of those things. You've already turned your page to that. You really must be down on your hockey team then.
Well, I'm not down on my hockey team. I know that you got to keep hockey talk to a minimum because it does affect the ratings.
Finally, you're thinking that.
Well, no, I've known that all along. But I'm not gonna. My hockey team didn't play last night. Somebody else's hockey team played last night and lost in overtime. But the point being is that it looks like everything is going to be normal for baseball. Like they're going to open normally. They're going to play normally. They're going to come out of the gate on April 1st. And by that time, who knows how many fans Yankees and the Mets will be able to have in Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. That's really the crux of all of this. I know that we'll have about 2,000 fans at Madison Square Garden, about 1,400 fans at Nassau Coliseum, and probably about 1,800 fans at Brooklyn's Barclays Center for basketball and hockey, respectively. So, hey, look, man, maybe by the time April comes rolling around and vaccinations are rolling out more and more and more, maybe they can increase that number and baseball fans can get back to doing what they love doing most, and that's going to see their teams play in person.
Yeah, as long as everybody's vaccinated in time for the Boomer and Geo boat parade, then that's really all I'm thinking about. Just get everybody ready for that in the summer, as we talked about it yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the Yankees and Mets, you feel like the Yankees are done. With everything in the offseason, that is. Like, you're not going to see them make another big move. There might be a supplemental roster move here or there. But there's still rumors of the Mets and trades and Chris Bryant. And could that happen? And could they end up trading more prospects? And I understand that, in that deal that sent Benintendi to the Royals, the Mets upgraded him in a prospect way where they, traded basically their number 20-something prospect for a guy who's now 7th in their system, so they're loading up there. But I just can't imagine that they're going to make another deal where they're trading away prospects to get a guy like Chris Bryant before the season with everything that we've heard. So I do believe that we've seen basically most of the big moves for both of these teams. I'd be shocked if the Mets made another trade. I mean, bringing in a free agent, Springer or Bauer, those two things, those ships have sailed, and they've sailed to different places, to Toronto and L.A., so I guess the next natural thing is, the Mets going to go out and make a big move to go and get Chris Bryant in a trade? No, I don't believe that they are, because if they are going to stick to the mentality that they need to replenish their farm system and they need to do it quickly, then trading away your top prospects in the organization is not the way to do that. So I wouldn't get too excited if you were thinking Chris Bryant was coming here.
Well, the other thing you got to remember is that the Mets are also looking to dump some other salary from some other relievers.
Betances, Familia, yeah.
Right. So I don't know if I'm not really sure how much Chris Bryant makes. I can find that out here shortly. But, there could be a money swap. There could be all sorts of different things happening. So I would say that I don't believe that they're done yet. I still think that they want to try to probably upgrade at third base, but the thing is that they've done a lot this offseason, and a lot of people don't think that they've done enough, but I think that they've done a pretty damn good job, especially with Francisco Lindor coming to the Mets, and that whole thing only works if you give him a contract extension. That's the bottom line about that particular deal. Like if they went out and got George Springer, if they went out and got JT Realmuto or somebody like that, that would have been a 5 or 6 year deal.
Yeah. So if
you're going to make a trade, that's great. We got one of the top 5 guys in baseball. There's no question about that. You now have to sign him to a contract extension, and that's why, I'm saying, look, man, I would be doing it now. I'd pay him more money this year to pay him less money next year, but to get him to actually sign a long deal. Over the life of the contract, it will be a certain number. And part of that number has to come this year if you want him to sign the contract. You want to incentivize him to sign the contract. And if he's as good as we believe he is and everybody in baseball believes he is, then there's really no reason why they shouldn't do it now. That's what I would do. I would be working on it right now, and I would try to get it done. But that's not usually the way baseball works.
So Chris Bryant's in the same situation as Francisco Lindor, of course, with the 1-year contract this year, with the, I don't know if it was agreed upon or it was an arbitration thing or what it was, but he's going to have $19.5 million this year in 2021, and then 2022 he's an unrestricted free agent. So you'd be in the same situation with Lindor, with Chris Bryant, if you were to trade a bunch of prospects for him, where you're saying, okay, we have to sign this guy. So now all of a sudden, you're in a position where you got to sign Bryant, you got to sign Lindor, you got to sign Conforto, and it's going to be just hundreds of millions of dollars that it's going to be thrown at these three players in one offseason.
Yeah, but I don't think you have to offer him right away. You want to see how healthy he is. And that's the problem if you do acquire him. It's a totally different situation with Lindor. Lindor is at the top of his game. He is at almost the pinnacle of his career. And he will be at this level for the next 4 to 5 years, assuming he doesn't get hurt. And that's always a big assumption in professional athletics. You got to make sure a guy's not going to get hurt. Chris Bryant, on the other hand, I could see trading money for money. Like, let's give them Familia, we'll take Bryant. So we're going to end up paying more money overall than the Cubs will. It sounds like the Cubs don't want to pay the $19 million, and maybe the Mets will absorb that. And maybe they're looking at that kind of like, all right, this is what's replacing the Robinson Cano deal. Actually, we really shouldn't even be talking about money because Steve Cohen, and he's got so much goddamn money that it doesn't matter. But, and this is just the way us Met fans talk. We talk about money all the time because we've been basically led down that path over and over and over again. And I know they don't want to go over the luxury tax.
Well, they would have with Trevor Bauer, though. That's the thing.
I know. That's the amazing thing. And that's why, I don't know. Could that have been a little bit of a game? No, I don't think so.
Why, though? I mean, all of it just to make the Dodgers pay more? Like, I don't think so.
But they must have, if they were going to sign Trevor Bauer, then they know that they could probably move Betances and Familia in some way, shape, or form. They could move those guys. That's what I would think. And I would think that if they're going to bring in Chris Bryant, that they know that they can move him. It's just a question of what they can get for him or whether or not the Cubs want to do a little bit of a swap here and save some money. That's the big question. But his Chris Bryant's year last year was just was below average.
Below average.
Average.
It's almost about time for him, by the way, to dust off his draft takes. Charlie Casserly, yes. Below average. Horrendous. I can't wait for that. It's right around now. You start getting like combine stuff. What's even happening with the combine?
Well, nothing. No combine this year. So you're going to have Trevor Lawrence's pro day today, I believe. You had the Senior Bowl where they were measuring hand sizes and things like that, and all the things that we're into this time of year.
Love hand sizes.
Right, love hand sizes. But there's going to be there is no combine this year.
So let me ask you,
it's going to be pro days.
Why in the hell is Trevor Lawrence having a pro day? That seems like the biggest waste of time ever. You're telling me maybe just to get out there and throw and maybe help out some of his other guys that could be drafted, because there's no point in him doing anything at this point for people to watch him. I mean, it's not as if like the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to decide to go elsewhere with the number 1 overall pick.
Well, Urban Meyer is going to watch this. So,
I mean, is this just for TV? Honestly, I'm asking you, is this just because the NFL hates when people know who the number 1 overall pick is going into the draft, but generally it's inevitable every year. I mean, is this one of those things, hey, just pretend like you don't know if you're going to draft Trevor Lawrence or not, just to make it a little more interesting to see if Jet fans get excited with the number 2 overall pick?
I would say this. So, number 1, you want to talk to his coach, Dabo Swinney. No question. I'm sure he loves Trevor, and I'm sure he's going to give glowing reviews about Trevor and the kind of kid he is and the leader that he was when he came to Clemson. But I still think that, if you're Urban Meyer and you're your scouts and you're the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator down there, I mean, you still have to talk to the guy. You still have to get to know the guy. You got to hear what the guy is saying. You got to see whether or not. And this is the key word. This is the buzzword now in the NFL and has been for about the last 10 years when it comes to the draft, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. How dedicated is he one of these all-in guys? And I believe he is. I believe that he's like Joe Burrow, that he is like Justin Herbert. And I do believe Tua Tagovailoa is an all-in guy. I do believe that these kids now are coming out with a level of dedication over the last, 5 or 6 years that we haven't seen before. And the reason for that is because what has Tom Brady done over the last 22 years in his career? Everybody is seeing the dedication, the commitment, all the sacrifices that you make to be the leader of the franchise and be the guy that sets the tone. So I think a lot of these kids coming out of college kind of have that attribute. And I also believe that the teams that are making these draft picks want to make sure that the kids have that attribute. So I think that's a big part of this.
Yeah, and I understand that a pro day is something that is traditional for guys like him. But can't you get to know him other ways, too? I mean, I don't know. Just have him at the facility, do a couple Zoom calls with him. I just seems odd to me. I guess there's going to be other Clemson players there, and then he's there, and he's going to be throwing balls to a bunch of guys and whatever. But it's like we all know what's happening here. Well, you're not going to trick us. We all get it.
After he does his pro day, he's going to go have surgery on his non-throwing left shoulder. He's got a little bit of, I don't know if it's a torn labrum.
It's another reason not to be out there throwing a football around.
It's his opposite shoulder.
Well, I mean, come on, he's still the torque, right? Or something, a little torque from that other shoulder?
I know that I separated my right shoulder in college and played with it, and I know how it affects you. And by the way, you know what I did yesterday for the first time? So I went back and I found on YouTube a 4-minute piece on when I got knocked out by Bruce Smith.
Oh, you went down that memory lane.
For some reason, I don't know why I did it.
Why? You know what it is?
You know why? Because
it's February. That's why.
So, go ahead.
You just want to abuse yourself. This is what I've decided about these months. Like, I want to drink beer that is basically like motor oil. I want to eat stuff that's just horrible for me. Like, it's February. You do things to punish yourself during this time of the year, and that's what I think is going on, is you wanted to go down that bad memory lane just to punish yourself for whatever reason because of the weather and the time of year, and it's just nothing's going on.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.